The moment you explain yourself, you've already lost. Think about it. When someone disrespects you, cuts you off mid-sentence, mocks your idea, questions your competence, what's your first instinct? You rush to clarify. You try to sound reasonable, you build a case. You prove you're not what they're implying. That instinct feels mature, it feels civilized. But in power dynamics, it's a confession. Because the second you defend yourself, you accept their frame. That you were guilty enough to require a trial. And now you're not leading the room, you're auditioning inside it. Here's the cost. Every explanation you give becomes permission for the next person to test you. Disrespect multiplies when it learns you negotiate your own value. In this video, I'll show you Machiavelli's dark method to kill disrespect. Instantly, without shouting, without fighting, without begging for respect. You'll learn how to flip social hierarchy in real time, and why most men will never dare to do it. In Renaissance Italy, disrespect wasn't an emotion, it was a political move. A man's reputation could determine whether he gained allies, access, money, protection, or whether he became a target. Status was not a personality trait, it was a survival mechanism. And Niccolò Machiavelli watched, studied, and recorded how that mechanism works when the stakes are real. In The Prince, Machiavelli repeatedly returns to one warning: a ruler must guard against being hated and despised, because contempt is an invitation to attack. Hatred motivates enemies, but contempt licenses them. When the crowd believes you can be treated lightly, they stop fearing consequences, and, once fear dies, violations begin. Chapter 19. Modern society hides this knowledge behind manners and therapy language. They teach you to communicate more, to explain your intentions, to be the bigger person. But what they don't teach you is what Machiavelli understood. Most human beings do not relate through truth first. They relate through signals first. Signals of certainty, boundaries, and social dominance. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by what they can see than what they can touch. Appearance over reality, because everyone can see, but few can verify it. That is why perception becomes power. Chapter 18. So when someone disrespects you, the content of their words is secondary. The real event is a status transaction. They are attempting to withdraw authority from you and deposit it into themselves in front of witnesses. The masses refuse to learn this because it forces them to admit something humiliating. Social hierarchy is always active, even when nobody mentions it. People reward strength, punish hesitation, and instinctively follow whoever controls the frame. The average man would rather pretend life is fair than accept that fairness is irrelevant when power is at stake. But you're not here to be average. If you're still watching, you're already stepping out of the crowd that lives in reaction, explaining, apologizing, performing. You're learning strategic thinking, how the world actually works when you remove the comforting lies. And there's something even darker about this. We'll get to that in a moment. Because disrespect isn't just an act someone commits against you. It's a test. And every test has one purpose: to see whether you will enforce reality or beg for it. Principle 1. Refuse the enemy's frame. Silence is the first strike. Disrespect is a trap disguised as dialogue. The attacker wants you to do one thing: react. The moment you react emotionally, you enter their reality. You accept their definition of the situation. And once you accept their definition, you are already below them in the hierarchy, because they set the terms, and you complied. This is why the first move is not verbal. It is psychological. It is behavioral. It is stillness. Machiavelli's world was built on appearances. He wrote that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone can see, few can feel. That means most people don't evaluate your inner truth. Chapter 18. So, when someone disrespects you, the first question is not, how do I respond? The first question is, what signal am I about to broadcast to every witness? The weak signal is immediate defense, fast speech, overclarification, nervous laughter. That signal tells the room, he got to me, he controls the pace. I need acceptance. The strong signal is silence with composure. Not wounded silence, not freezing, but deliberate silence. Eyes steady, posture controlled, breathing slow. Silence that communicates, that attempt did not land. You are not important enough to rush me. In dark psychology, this works because humans are pattern detectors. They read the nervous system before they read the words. When you remain calm under attack, the observer's brain assumes you have status because lower status men panic when challenged. High status men don't. they can afford patience. How to execute it in real life, the exact behavioral formula. When disrespected, do 3 things in sequence. Stop moving for a beat. Movement is leakage. Stillness is control. Hold eye contact long enough for discomfort to form. Discomfort is pressure. Lower your voice, don't raise it. Loudness is compensation. Quiet is command. Then and only then you speak. But what do you say? The first line must do one thing. It must deny the frame without debating it. Examples that work because they're structured like authority. Try. Again. Say that properly. Reset your tone. That's not how this conversation works. Notice what is missing. Justification. There is no explanation of why. You don't lecture them on respect. You don't request kindness. You don't appeal to morality. You simply declare the standard, like law. That's frame control. Imagine a meeting. You're presenting. Someone smirks and says, "Are you finished? Or are we going to pretend this is relevant?" Most men react with words. They defend the relevance, they explain the context. They try to win back approval, and the room watches them shrink. The Machiavellian response is colder. You stop, you look at him like you just spoke out of turn in a courtroom, not angry, not amused, evaluating. Then you say, ask the question without the performance. Now the room feels it. You just labeled him as emotional and attention-seeking. You didn't attack his argument, you attacked the status meaning of his behavior. And if he tries to laugh it off, relax. It's a joke you don't chase. The joke, you kill it, then it won't be hard to speak normally. What happened? You didn't argue, you issued a correction. You placed him under your standard. You refused his attempt to place you under his. Power dynamics explanation. Disrespect is a dominance probe. Silence is the shield. The corrective line is the counterstrike. The purpose is to force the attacker into a losing choice. If they comply, they submit. If they escalate, they expose themselves as unstable. Either way, you gain social dominance. Pattern break. Now most people think silence makes you look weak. But here's where it gets dark. Silence only looks weak when your body is asking for mercy. Silence with composure looks like authority deciding whether you're worth responding to. And this is only the surface. No, most people stop here, but that's why they fail. There's a second layer. Principle 2. Redirect the spotlight, make their disrespect, reveal their low status. Disrespect is not private. Even when only 2 people are present, the attacker is performing for an invisible audience. Future gossip, future alliances, future perceptions. Every insult is a social investment. They're spending aggression to buy status. So if you respond like a victim, you pay them profit. Your goal is to reverse their investment, make their disrespect expensive. Machiavelli warned that a prince must avoid being hated and despised because contempt turns people into conspirators. When the public sees weakness, attacks feel safe. Chapter 19. So your response must do something more advanced than standing up for yourself. It must reclassify them. Here's the darker psychological mechanism. Human beings avoid contamination. If the group labels someone as rude, unstable, childish, low class, insecure, people instinctively distance themselves. They don't want to catch that reputation. They don't want to be associated with the wrong energy. That means your best weapon is not anger. Your best weapon is social labeling done calmly. You do this by turning their disrespect into evidence that they lack self-control. Examples. That cut deep because they redefine the attacker. You're emotional. You're reaching. You're trying too hard. You want attention. Stay focused. That's not disciplined thinking. These lines don't debate content. They diagnose motive. They place the attacker in a lower psychological category, reactive, insecure, and then you do the most important part. You move on. Moving on is not avoidance. It is dominance. It signals, your attempt to derail me failed. You do not control the tempo here. A man tries to embarrass you in front of others. He always acts confident, but he never delivers. He wants laughter. He wants you defensive. He wants the room to smell blood. You pause. Then you say, calm. If you had evidence, you'd present it. You chose theater instead. Then you continue speaking to someone else or return to the topic. What did you do? You didn't deny his claim. You didn't plead innocence. You reframed his attack as a weakness in him. He needs performance because he lacks substance. That is frame control. Why this works on the brain, observers subconsciously ask. Who is stable? Who is strategic? Who is in control? The one Who stays calm and labels the other as emotional becomes the perceived leader. Humans follow the calmest nervous system in a conflict because calm signals safety and competence. This is why Machiavelli emphasized appearances. Most people cannot verify reality, so they follow signals. Chapter the 18th, Status Reinforcement. If you're still watching, you already understand what others refuse to see. This separates those who consume content from those who use knowledge as a weapon. But they forget the fatal rule: words without consequence are theater. And that leads to the next principle, where it gets truly dangerous. Because the next principle decides whether disrespect dies or evolves. Principle 3. Consequence must be immediate. Small tolerance teaches bigger disrespect. Is a training process. The attacker is training you to accept lower treatment, and you are training them on how far they can go. They confuse being calm with being harmless. Stoicism is not being passive. Stoicism is emotional control in service of strategic action. So its taste is shortened, its lesson is permanent. Quote reference in Power Dynamics. This means, do not respond with half measures that invite repeat testing. A small punishment makes the attacker believe they can adapt. A clean consequence makes them believe the environment has rules. What weak people do, they tolerate small disrespect to keep peace. They wait, collect resentment, then explode later. They become unpredictable, sometimes tolerant, sometimes aggressive, and instability invites more tests. They enforce them like policy. Disrespect requires your presence to be rewarded. Remove yourself. We're done. Then silence. Remove access. Stop answering quickly. Remove status. If the disrespect happened in front of others, you correct it in front of others. Not loudly, clearly, because public disrespect requires public correction, or the hierarchy shifts. Someone jokes about you repeatedly. He's always so serious, like he thinks he's above everyone. Weak response. Nervous smile. I'm just focused. That response confesses guilt. It accepts their frame. Machiavellian response. You pause, then say, you keep trying to frame me. Say what you want directly. If they dodge, it's not that deep, you say. Then stop repeating it. Then consequence. Your warmth disappears. Your investment drops. You stop giving them the privilege of closeness. What happens next is predictable. They either respect the boundary or they reveal themselves as an enemy wearing a friendly mask. Warning, this is where you need to be careful. Consequence must be controlled, not impulsive. Machiavelli warned princes to avoid being hated and despised. The goal is not to create enemies everywhere. The goal is to stop contempt from growing. Chapter 19. That means your consequences are not emotional revenge. They are deterrence. Pattern break. Most people think the mature thing is to tolerate disrespect. But here's the truth. Tolerance without enforcement is not maturity. It's permission now. Once you understand enforcement, the game changes. Because there is a level above response, above correction, above consequence. And that level is prevention. But knowing these isn't enough. You need to understand how they combine. Principle 4. Preempt the attack. Engineer a reputation that makes disrespect irrational. Forbidden knowledge here is the most powerful principle. The best disrespect to defeat is the disrespect that never begins. Disrespect is a calculated risk. People attack when they believe you won't respond effectively. That belief forms long before the insult. It forms through your micro behaviors. What you tolerate, how fast you explain yourself, how often you seek approval, how you handle tension. Machiavelli emphasized that most men judge through appearances, not reality. People follow what they can see. Chapter 18. So you must build an appearance, an aura of controlled force. This is why Machiavelli's famous animal strategy matters. A ruler must be both fox and lion, cunning enough to recognize traps, strong enough to frighten wolves. Chapter the 18th. Resource translated into modern social dominance. The fox is your perception, your frame control, your ability to read motives. The lion is your consequence, your willingness to enforce boundaries. Most men choose one. They become harmless foxes, smart but ignored, or loud lions, strong but predictable and easy to manipulate. The Machiavellian man integrates both. Why most people can't handle this truth? Because it requires discipline, consistency, emotional control, and the willingness to let people dislike you. The masses are addicted to approval, so they trade power for comfort. They accept disrespect because conflict scares them more than humiliation. But when you adopt this principle, you stop living inside other people's emotional economy. How it integrates with the previous principles. Principle 1, silence makes you unhookable. Principle 2, reframe makes the attacker look low status. Principle 3, consequence makes attacks costly. Principle 4, reputation makes attacks unthinkable. Climax, what Machiavelli understood but didn't spell out directly. The fastest way to kill disrespect isn't to punish the insult, it's to punish the attempt. The moment someone tries to test you, you respond as if the test itself was inappropriate. That flips the hierarchy instantly. It tells the room, testing me is what low-status people do. Pattern break. Now, most people believe respect is earned through being useful. But the dark truth is this: respect is often granted to whoever looks like they will be expansive to violate. And once you master that, your entire social world reorganizes around you. Here is the unified Machiavellian strategy 1 system for gears. First, refuse the frame. Silence, composure, controlled, eye contact. You do not rush to defend. You do not accept the trial. You refuse to be positioned beneath them. Second, reframe the attacker. You label their behavior as undisciplined, emotional. That's it. Shinking, you move the spotlight off your supposed flaw and onto their social violation. This is frame control, the true battlefield of power dynamics. Third, apply consequence. Not revenge, deterrence, immediate, clean, memorable. Machiavelli's logic about injuries done all at once is the blueprint. A sharp lesson prevents repeated offenses. Quote, reference 4th, preempt through reputation. Fox and Lion strategic thinking and enforcement. So, people learn that disrespect is irrational in your presence. Chapter 18, resource now. Some will say this is manipulation. But power doesn't care about labels. Human nature doesn't pause to ask whether you're nice. It responds to incentives, risk, and social hierarchy. If you refuse to learn, others will use it on you anyway at work, in relationships, in family dynamics. They will frame you, test you, and harvest your reactions as proof of their dominance. Reality check. The world is divided into players and pieces. Players control frames. Pieces live inside them. Which one will you be? Because the final step is where knowledge becomes weapon. Implementation. Here are 5 actionable steps. Easiest to most advanced, so you can kill disrespect instantly without turning into a loud, emotional man. The 3-second dominance pause today. When disrespected, pause for 3 seconds. No fidgeting. No smiling. Let the silence apply pressure. You're not thinking. You're controlling the pace. Memorize 1 boundary line today. Choose 1 and commit. Speak properly. Try again. Reset your tone. Say it once. If they comply, continue. If they don't, escalate consequence. Use the motive label this week. Calmly classify the behavior. You're performing, you want attention. You're emotional. Then move on. This strips them of the audience reward. Install consequences as policy. This might decide in advance what happens on second offense. Reduced access. Ending the conversation. Public correction. Withdrawal of favors. Power is built before conflict through prepared rules. Engineer reputation. Advanced. Be consistent. Calm. Final. Machiavelli's world ran on perception, and yours does too. When people repeatedly see you enforce boundaries without emotion, they stop testing. They call it confidence. What it really is social dominance. You now know what 99% of people will never understand. Respect isn't requested. It's enforced quietly, strategically, and without apology. Disrespect survives for one reason. You negotiate your value. Now you understand Machiavelli's dark method. Refuse the frame, reframe the attacker, apply consequence, and build a reputation that makes violation irrational. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must avoid being hated and despised because contempt is the gateway to conspiracy and collapse. In social life, contempt is the gateway to repeated violation. Chapter 19. Most people will watch this and do nothing. That's why they stay powerless, trapped in explanation, trapped in approval, trapped in the fantasy that being understood will protect them. If this resonates with a part of you that's tired of performing, tired of giving speeches to people committed to misunderstanding, you know what to do. Subscribe, because this channel is for men who use knowledge as a weapon. Machiavelli, dark psychology, manipulation tactics, frame control, and power dynamics applied in real life. The choice is yours. But remember, ignorance is not bliss. It's slavery.